Hi, welcome back to Inside Weyermann, the video series that brings our malt house to your brew house. Today's topic is a very Bambergian topic. It is smoked malts and smoked beers. So from the smoked beer capital of the world to you out there, let's talk about smoked malts and smoked beers. See you in a minute. So you may wonder, where does the smoke come? And why is it so typical for Bamberg? Well, when you think of it, before the invention of indirect heating in the kiln, all kilned malts were heated over direct fires. And obviously the smoke within the fire did get into the malt to a certain extent. So before that invention, all of the beers were a bit smoky. Elsewhere in the world, and even elsewhere in Germany, smoke has pretty much disappeared from all beer recipes. But here in Bamberg, two famous breweries, hung on to that tradition, and they do make their own smoked malt, and it's still such a unique flavor. And Weyermann brought such smoked malt into our portfolio by producing it here in Bamberg, so that you are out there and you can brew a beer that is true to the style of a Bambergian smoked beer, or you have your own creation, and we will talk about the proportions of smoked and what they will do in the beer. At Weyermann we do have two varieties of smoked malts. One is the beech smoked barley malt, and the other is the oak smoked wheat. And when you picture smoked beers, because of that very, very famous one, a lot of people are thinking, oh, a smoked malt must be dark. But no, it's not. It is a perfectly pale 6 EBC, what's that in Lovibond? I think we will put this down here, that conversion, when you see this video, because for our American friends, I'm not so familiar with the Lovibonds. But we leave it at 6 EBC color, and that is a perfect base malt with all the enzyme activity there, and you can brew 100% Beechwood smoked barley malt beer out of it. But that will be seen in a minute how that turns out. But with the addition of caramel malts or dark malts, you can get other nuances of smoked beers, and you will also see in a minute how the color affects the perception of smoke. In a way, when you have something that is very dark in color and it has smokiness, it seems to be, oh yeah, this is big and bold and smoky. On the other hand, a pale beer that might have even more smoked malt in it will be perceived as, oh, that's not so smoky because it is pale. So it does play a bit of a trick between color and smoke. You may ask yourself, how much smoked malt do I need in my malt bill? You can say, once you add 5% of smoked malt in the malt bill, you are adding complexity to your beer. It's not perceived as smokiness yet. That starts at around 10%. If you don't say that you used smoked malt, from 10% onward, people with the trained palate may notice, oh, there is some smokiness in it, but still people who are not into smoked beers are loving that beer. It's not off-putting at all for the untrained beer connoisseur. And I'm assure you, once you get to that stage where there is more inside and you have a trained palate, people do start to love smoked beers. From 20 to 40%, this is where there is a mild smokiness, where I would say. Then above 40 to 60 is where you say, yep, that is smoky. And above 70, we're talking liquid bacon. Which type of smoke do we use? On the Beechwood barley malt, obviously it's Beechwood. Beechwood is used for several reasons. First of all, it is a natural wood of the Bavarian forests. It is a typical smoke flavor. It is a smoke with a punch. On the other hand, you have the oak smoked wheat, and oak smoke is more noble, more elegant, and we use this on the wheat because wheat does not have a husk. So if you would use beechwood on wheat, you might overpower that. You get too many phenolic components into that unhusked endosperm, and that would be too much once in the brew. Because it is all about balance, drinkability, and that pleasant smoke, I would say. Speaking of drinkability, we often get asked, do you also have peated malt? No, we don't. First of all, peat is something that is not grown locally around. We don't have moors here around here, and it is something that is an expertise of our fellow maltsters in Scotland for the peated whiskey. Where in a smoked whiskey, the distilling process is taking away a bit of that smoke, so they have to go aggressively into the wash. On beers, a more gentle approach towards beechwood or oak smoked gives that pleasant smoke and drinkability that we all want to have in the beer. We are not sipping, we're drinking. In Bamberg there is a saying, you need to drink 3 smoked beers to get acquainted with that unique flavor, and you probably will be hooked after you had 3. And unfortunately you can't be here to have the smell and to experience that beautiful smoke aroma. So what I brought along is 3 of our beers that we brew in our pilot brewery, and it demonstrates nicely visually the different colors that can all be used in beers that are smoky. We all know the very dark one, and right here, voila, that was a bit tame. So these 3 beers are brewed in our pilot brewery. One is our new Beechwood lager, which has 70% of smoked malt. So really, the most amount of smoked malt, yet with this light color, it is very easy to drink. Here on our Bamberg Hofbräu Rauch, we have a caramel amber colored beer with 64% of smoke, and our Schlotfegerler, our Weyermann #1, only has 40% of beechwood barley malt, yet in combination with its dark soul, people are thinking, oh, this must be definitely the most smoky one. So I hope you enjoyed the excursion into our Bamberg Rauch beers and malts, and we do hope to see you soon here in person to drink together with you a proper Bamberg Rauch beer. Cheers!